So, welcome back. In this video, we're going to show you how to turn a 2D sketch into a 3D object. So we're going to start by opening our sketch from the last video by clicking this open button right here. And I'm going to click on my file. And you can also open straight from File Explorer if you want. And right now we have this 2D house kind of, and let's say that we wanted to turn it into a 3D house. Well, we can do that with the Extrude tool right here in the top left. If we click that, we get this pop-up, and we're allowed to select different faces, different closed faces of our sketch. So let's click the triangle, for example, and you'll notice how it extrudes a certain distance. We can change that distance right here. See, I wanted it to extrude 3 inches instead of just 1. Type 3 inches, and there we go. We can also change the direction of the extrusion. We can have it extrude in the opposite direction, or we can go half both ways. And there's also this one, but we don't really worry about that one. And we can also select multiple faces. I also want the rectangle to extrude 3 inches, or an equal amount to the triangle. I can just click the rectangle, and there we have it. And when we're done, we can click OK. And notice how our extrusion was added to the model browser right here. And if we ever wanted to edit this extrusion, we can just by double clicking this. Say instead of 3 inches, I wanted it to be 4 inches. Just type 4 and it changes. Now let's say we want to make some additions to this house of ours. We can do that by adding sketches to this house. Start 2D sketch just like in the last video, but this time we can select a face of our house. I'm going to select the front face. I'm going to rotate my view. And let's say that I wanted to add a circle in the center of this rectangle. I wanted to add a circle directly in the center of it. Well, we can do that by clicking circle. And I'm just going to make it anywhere, not necessarily in the center. And I'm going to set this diameter equal to 2 inches. And if we want this circle to be centered, we're going to have to determine the distance that the center of this circle needs to be from this side length, this side line, and the distance between the center of the circle and this bottom line. Now, if we didn't already know the lengths of these lines, we can use the Measure tool, which is found under the Tools tab, Measure. You can also just click M, it's a shortcut, super easy. And we can click on this line to determine its length. We know the width is 5 inches. Hit Escape, measure again, and we can determine this height, which is 4 inches. So that means that the center of this circle needs to be 2.5 inches from this side and 2 inches from the bottom. And we can determine those lengths by using the Dimension tool. And the Dimension tool basically determines the distance between two different parts of a sketch. So we can select the center of the circle to the bottom, then this is currently 2.7 inches, but we want it to be 2 inches. So I'm just going to type 2, hit enter, and now it's vertically centered. And now we also want to horizontally center it. And currently it's 1 inch, right? About 1 inch. And we know that the current width is 5 inches, so we want it to be half of the width. Now, if you didn't immediately know that 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, you can actually just type any kind of math right in here. So 5 divided by 2, which will be 2.5, and there we have it. It is centered. And when you're done with that, you can click Finish Sketch. Note how we can also, we can also move these dimensions around to make it look neat. Alright, so now let's say we actually wanted this circle to be a hole in the center of our kind of house, I guess. So we can use that with the Extrude tool again, except this time we're intruding. So by default it goes outward, but by changing the direction to flipped, we can make it inward and create a hole. And just by clicking OK, we now have this hole in the center of our house. Now, I don't really know what the point of this house is, but here we have it. That's Extrusions. I'm going to hit Control S to save, and now we can close this, and we're done.